Right.
Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak. I'm joined by Ray Clifford in Marysville, Ohio, and a jumping up and down Ralph Schrager, who is in Belmont, Mass. How you guys doing?
Terrible.
I'm doing good. The Jets, as a team, are doing good, but we're in trouble.
Yeah, and for you fans, and I don't know if you saw it, we all know that Breece Hall went down, and he has an ACL and a meniscus issue, and it just came over the wire right before we came on the air that Elijah Verataka is out for the season with a torn tricep. So after a great win, that was an ugly great win, it's kind of turned into a bittersweet. And I just saw that, what's his name? He's eligible to come off the injured reserve.
Fans.
Thank God for what's his name.
But they said he probably won't come off. So they're going to have to do some jumping.
Marty, I think they need you.
You know, I got to tell you guys, and Ray, you're going to love this. You know, I do this Jets Rewind Plus on Saturday mornings. I go through the X's and O's and I give suggestions. And I had to open my mouth and say, except for who's the tackle that's out for the year?
Becton
and
Well,
Zach
Mitchell
got hurt for a few weeks.
Well, Mitchell's out for we don't know how long.
But I said we've been fairly lucky with the injuries, and then all of a sudden it hits the fan, and you have like probably our two best players on
two of our three best players on the team, I'd say.
Yeah, two of our three best players. There's no doubt in my mind, in all due respect to Sauce Gardner, I thought Breece Hall was the best player in the team and the player that made the team go.
Absolutely.
Now, we have Michael Carter, he's no slouch. He's good.
He's good.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the breakaway speed, or he doesn't hit the hole like Breece Hall. So moving forward, I'm really concerned. I mean, I was concerned, and again, it's bittersweet victory. I was concerned about the play of our quarterback, but now having New England come in, Ray, what do you see the prospects? And this is without tonight's game. It hasn't been played yet. The Patriots, I believe, are hosting the Chicago Bears, which would be a sleeper in more ways than one. So what's your feeling, Ray, moving forward?
Maybe we can get the Bears to injure half of their team and we'll, even the playing field. I think we were in trouble anyway, because I think, the one thing they always talk about Belichick is he takes away what you want to do. And what the Jets want to do right now is run the ball and have no pressure on Zach. And I think now they're going to take away that run and he's going to make Zach try and beat the Patriots. And I'm not sure he can do it, because we don't do anything to make him grow. They take so much off his plate that it's going to be a very vanilla game plan unless they really come up with something special.
Yeah, and just for you Jets Rewind fans, we're going to review a little bit of the victory over Denver. I just want to hear Ralph's initial reaction too about moving into Sunday's game. What's your feeling?
I don't know how the team, is going to deal with it psychologically. They're professionals. They should. But I just think that, Breece Hall made the Jets a special team. I thought that the way he was going, by the end of the year, he would have been in consideration for MVP. I'm not even talking about Rookie of the Year. He's that good. In 55 years, I haven't been this excited about a rookie at all. It's just, it's devastating because you just like watching the guy. He's a master at his craft, and the offensive line is it's just a numbers thing now. Who was that right tackle that they threw in there? I never even saw the guy's name. Started with an O.
Ogawabi.
Yeah,
he's been right. I think, Ray, wasn't he a former first-round pick of the Bengals?
You're mixing him up with someone else.
I don't know.
I could be, but I also have Reamers on the team. it's it's going to be one of those years where you really need a scorecard like every week to.
I was out at shopping today, and Joe Douglas has a sandwich sign, "Help Wanted," walking up and down.
Yeah,
Well,
but anyway,
what is a little funny about that is last week we were like, well, what's going to happen when Fant comes back and Mitchell comes back?
Yeah, right.
Well, we know now.
yeah.
Hey, look, we had the same offensive line for what, 3 straight weeks or 2? That's about it. You know?
But anyway, just going back to the Denver game, which was literally all defense, especially in the second half. Our defense we shut them out in the second half, and they just played great. And even though Brett Ripien, he's not the starter, he was getting more and more comfortable, but our defense made plays when they had it. But we opened up the scoring where it was a beautiful play. It was a 62-yard run by Breece Hall. I'm going to ask Ralph to describe it. And towards the end of it, I think Denzel Mims, or sort of at the beginning or middle, he threw a beautiful block. Why don't you describe it, Ralph?
He did it, and Dwayne Brown was probably the only good play he made yesterday. He blocked. It was a sweep left. It was actually pretty much the same play that he got hurt on a little later. It was a pretty simple sweep. And the thing about Breece Hall is he knows when to accelerate, when to wait for his blocks. He's absolutely amazing. There was a play later in the game, and I like Michael Carter, where the play was to go left, and you could see there was nothing on the right, and Carter just went left. And I know if it was Breece Hall, he would have been waiting, and he would have seen that. And it's brutal watching. And the thing about Breece Hall also is very deceptive speed. He's a big guy, but then he kicks it into another gear, and the guys who have angles on him can't catch him. But I can't even bear talking about him anymore.
Right. Ray, I want to ask you, as the game started, we have a lot of complaints about our quarterback, but if you notice, the first 2 passes were way too high. Mm-hmm. Is it because he comes out there and his adrenaline is just really at fever pitch?
Well, I mean, that obviously that can be part of it. I think a lot of his problem is, and boy, could we use a Brian Dable right now. I think a lot of it's footwork. I think a lot of his passing issues are footwork. He throws a lot off the back foot. He likes doing the off-grid stuff so much in college that I think it's messed with his mechanics a lot. Because the simple passes are what I worry about. He misses the simple ones, and when I say misses, they might get caught, but he doesn't put it on them where they can catch it and keep running, or he holds the ball a little too long and he waits till the guys are almost basically covered by the time he gets the ball to him. He's got to release it sooner. I don't know, what our quarterback coach sees, but it seems to me if they work on his footwork, he's got all the ability in the world. So I don't know. Adrenaline could be part of it in the beginning, but I mean, these things continue through the game.
I'll tell you one thing that really bothered me, and Ralph, hopefully you were watching the same thing. He went back to pass. I don't know if it was a little bit of a rollout, but to his right, the left end or edge was getting past. I think it was our tight end that was blocking it, and he went to beat him. He went one of his scrambles turning left or right. Ralph, if he just stepped up like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, I mean, that tight end could have pushed him past him. He would have had time. He just doesn't have that instinct.
Bad habit. It's a bad habit he's gotten into. And, if he doesn't throw high, he's throwing behind guys all the time. Poor Denzel Mims got lit up because he threw it behind him. The play to the third down, big play to Conklin, he double clutched on that one. He was wide open. It's just not clicking for him right now. And believe me, it's painful for me to say it because I thought he was dynamite in college. I must have watched every one of his passes. He was an extremely accurate passer. He just doesn't seem relaxed back there. Everything's either rushed or he's frozen. I don't know what to say at this point.
Indecisive.
Go ahead,
Indecisive is what I feel.
Yeah.
He just doesn't trust what he sees. He's got the arm, he's got everything he needs. He just doesn't trust something that he's seeing out there, and he's just got to let it go. Start ripping it, just let it go.
Yeah,
And once again,
yeah.
sorry, Marty.
Yeah.
Last week, one deep pass, they got a 40 yards out of it. This week, one deep pass, they got a penalty out of it. I don't know what they're waiting for. They just have to try more of those, loosen this team up, and probably loosen Wilson up. It's just, oh, everything's just so frustrating with the passing game.
And I wasn't the biggest Zach Wilson fan, though. I'm kind of warming up. I'll just tell you two positive things that I see or observed. He started his 17th game yesterday, or played in it. So that means that that's his first full season just ended. Okay. If you look at it like that, his rookie season ended, and now we start his second season. I will say this: if we don't see any marked improvement moving forward, I'd start to get a little bit worried. The other thing is, as bad as he looked, I thought he did look a little more comfortable in the fourth quarter. And if that's a trend, I believe that's a real good trend. And let's not forget how well he played in the fourth quarter against Pittsburgh. Now, this doesn't negate all the negative things he did. I don't understand some of his scrambles or whatever. And that overthrow to, I guess it was Uzama.
Yeah.
That drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's just
the thing about his scrambles is he's trying to do too much. He's trying to make plays when there's nothing there, and it's driving me crazy. Throwing balls over his head, and pitching him forward. It's just he's got to stop. He's got to control that stuff.
Yeah,
he's going to get pick sixth.
And I thought the center of the field that I was like, oh my God. And I mean, the play hadn't even ended, and I thought, here's a pick six, because he just lofted it to the middle of the field.
And I actually thought that play in the first quarter was a fumble.
I did. We all did. I think everybody did, except I don't know even what their explanation was. I didn't even hear it.
All I know is,
they had to even it out with the Mosey's interception.
Yeah,
I still have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know how
they overturned that. I first of all, I think it was an interception, and how could they overturn that too?
Yeah, I thought it was hit the ground, but I didn't think they had enough to be able to do it, to overturn it either. But they got 10 penalties, but they got some good calls. The pass interference on the deep one, that seemed a little soft. And we'll get into Gardner, Sauce. He gets away with stuff. I don't know why the officials treat him like he's a 6-year veteran going to the Hall of Fame. It's amazing.
Let's get into right now, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to make a statement. First of all, Sauce Gardner was outstanding.
He was.
He had 9 solo tackles, 10 altogether. But Ralph and I have spoken off the air that he's getting away with some coverage. And I'm going to guarantee. I'm going to say something and guarantee it. Before the game next Sunday, Bill Belichick is going to go to the head linesman or the backfield coach and say, "You got to watch number 1. He's a great player, but he clings on the jersey holding, and he's not getting called. You watch. He's going to get called for holding next week." Yeah.
I mean, technically they say that if you don't redirect the guy, they're going to let it slide a lot of the time. But I mean, he was doing on the one that's with the Sutton. I think he was overdoing it.
Right.
But a couple though, they were hand battling, and they were kind of both.
Yeah.
At it, and I think they let that go for that reason. But some of them, they're.
I mean, I'm with officials. I think when in doubt, don't make the call. I hate pass interference calls. Period. I think it's just cheap way to get yardage a lot of times. So.
Ralph wants the NFL officials to play it like overtime in hockey. You swallow the
whistles.
That's it. But just again, Breece Hall's 62-yard run was outstanding. They scored a touchdown and missed the extra point. Thank God for our special teams, except for a little bit of a bobble by our punter. Our special teams has been lights out since after the first game, which it was terrible. Yeah. And I questioned signing Zerline. I wanted the other guy.
Yeah, me too.
And I also thought that our punter was could have been on his way out. But a couple of notes I made, guys. I just want to go over in the first quarter. I mentioned that Zach's first 2 passes were too high. Curry had a nice stop. There was one play, I don't know if you remember it, it was 3rd down, and Ripien could have run for a first down to his
Yeah,
left,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
tried
yeah.
to throw it. And by the way, talking about him, this guy Hackett, couple of times when it was like they had third or fourth and one, and he punted, I'm like exhaling and say, oh my God, what's this guy doing? And one of them was right at midfield. Ray, did you think the same thing? That why is he punting on 4th and 1?
There were a couple times when we were talking, and it was fourth, and especially the midfield one. I thought they were going for it.
Yeah, I
had
would say,
run the
yeah,
ball
if he was
fairly well.
going up against a team like KC, I could understand punting, but the Jets offense is so weak that I thought that would
Right.
definitely be worth the gamble.
Yeah. There was a holding penalty on Garrett Wilson, and there was a false start on Jacob Martin.
Oh, we'll be here all night if you go through all the penalties.
Huntington's, I
Marty.
know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And but DJ Reed, who I thought him and Sauce were great. He had an
He's
DJ
unbelievable,
Reed is great.
he had an
Yeah,
unbelievable hit.
he is a hammer, that guy, for a little guy.
Yeah, it's funny.
He
I thought
makes
they would,
plays every week.
Mm.
I thought they would try to isolate Sauce on Sutton because of the size. Sutton's like 6'3.5", but DJ Reed did a great job on them. And Judy caught a nice 17-yard pass. They scored a touchdown, I guess, on Murray, and they missed the extra point.
I thought Joyner was burned a few times early in the game. He got the interception later, but I could see he was like about 5 yards trailing guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave them, but we gave them that first touchdown. I mean, I think we had 3 third down.
I know.
penalties
I
that
know.
could extend every drive.
Third down penalties for this team, or it's mind-boggling.
Unbelievable third down penalties. We matched field goals, and it was like 10-9, but in the second quarter, and Ralph, I thought of you because it could have been one of Zach's best passes. It had a small
yes.
window and went right off the chest of Jeff Smith.
Yep.
And I gotta say right now, and I've been on this, but I gotta say this, Ray and Ralph, CBS does such a horrible job with the replays.
Yeah.
They don't show you anything downfield.
Yeah.
It's just pathetic. It's disgusting. I can't stand it. And I don't know really how you judge if a guy was open or the other players open. They don't show anything. It's just terrible. Did you think the same thing, Ray?
I always think I've thought CBS is of all the networks. I wish the AFC was on anything but CBS. There are 2 things I always wish for. We're on Fox or somebody else, and that we don't have Jerome Boger as our referee. But other than that,
And you don't have Michael LaFleur as your OC, right?
yeah, well, that's more of a team thing.
There were a couple of good plays. John Franklin Myers made a good third down play.
What's his status injury-wise? Do you know?
I haven't heard anything. I don't know.
Oh boy,
I don't know.
that's the next shoe to fall.
Also, after that Jeff Smith bounced off his chest, there was a nice punt. Eccles made a nice play at the 1-yard line.
Well, you see, Jeff Smith thought that we were playing European football. That's why he went for the.
Yeah. Zach Wilson had a nice run where that's when he showed his instinct. When he did like the Tennessee 2-step.
Yeah.
On the side, and he got like an extra, I guess 5 or 6 yards. It was just great.
Yeah, that was a nice move.
Yeah, it was great. And let's see, we had a pass to Carter. I think it was like for like almost 30 yards.
Yeah, it really opened up when he turned on the speed. It
was nice. So we're going to see more of him, and I guess Ty Johnson is the other.
I'm hoping they bring Knight up.
They will. I think they will.
I think they
will. Though, Ray, you'll like this. I saw a tweet by our buddy Rich Cimini that thought the Jets should inquire with Cleveland about the running back Kamara. Is that his name? The good guy?
Alvin Kamara.
Kamara. He's
Kamara. No, that's Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt. I get those 2 guys. Kareem Hunt. It's his last year, and he's in a contract year.
Yeah.
Last year.
How's he doing this year?
It'd be like a rental.
They're running. Well, I haven't really paid attention, over the last few weeks, other than they seem to be losing every somehow losing close games. But last I knew, both running backs were doing really well. I mean, he's a great change of pace to Nick Chubb, but But he's gonna go
No.
somewhere else next year.
Yeah, I think the Jets are gonna be buyers. I think they're gonna have to at this point.
Yeah.
You know, 5-2, they have to do what they can.
For
Give a
who?
lot- Well, I haven't looked specifically, but our running backs, I heard someone say Cam Akers, but I'd rather have Kareem Hunt.
Well, what would you give up for Hunt? A fourth?
I don't know. I'd have to watch him a little to see how he's doing this year, but it's
He's
possible.
talented. He's very
Yeah, he
talented.
is he a troublemaker, Ray? Has he had problems?
Well, he had
he's had-
problems and got him kicked out of Kansas City. I don't know
Yeah.
if he's had any since then. I haven't
Well,
really.
Kansas City kept Tyreek Hill, so if they got him kicked out, you can imagine.
Yeah.
But
Had to pick which one.
True.
they're gonna have to find a lineman too. Buy a lineman who's on his last year of his contract, an offensive lineman. I
Yep.
mean, they gotta go for it now, you know?
Go for the playoffs. You never know. This is where
Yeah,
ball. My theory is get in the playoffs and watch the way the ball bounces. Sometimes, you know, you never know. Ralph, I always remember that playoff game in New England where Ray Rice on the first play from scrimmage broke the line, went for a touchdown. You remember
right.
that?
It's about 60 some odd yards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's amazing how one play,
changed their
just like what's it, David Harris.
David Harris against Brady. Yeah, yeah.
And we didn't
I-
score in that play, but it changed.
No.
Brady was a different quarterback after that.
Yeah, the crowd was shocked too. He hadn't thrown an interception in about 12 weeks or something like that. And it just completely changed the mindset. It's fascinating. You're right.
Yeah. Now, also, there was no score in the third quarter. A couple of notes I made was that, boy, this guy. I even texted Ralph. I think this Dulcich from
Dulcich.
UCLA. He's going to be some ball player. You could just see it. And
Yeah, he was a good-looking prospect.
he was. He
But
was.
I still think our guy will be very good too. I'm not worried about
Yes.
him.
Yes, I don't even know if he was active.
No, I don't think he was. I think Ebola was.
Yeah, but in the third quarter too, and Ralph's favorite Jet, Barrios did the jet sweep for 24 yards. That guy makes things happen when you put the ball in his hands. It's unbelievable. And in the series right after that, at third quarter, that's where he missed Uzama, who was so open. But after we gave the ball back on a third down play, there was a great sack. I think it was a combination of Huff and Lawson. Do you remember that play?
Yeah.
Ray, do you remember that
Finally,
play?
yeah. I mean,
I'll
this
stick
was a
with that.
frustrating game sack wise because they were so close about a dozen times.
No.
That's the old Jets. I did not expect that from this team. And this guy's not that mobile. I felt like late in the game they were getting tired when he was driving, and I thought, throw a blitz at this guy because he's so young and inexperienced. That's what they were doing with Wilson because they knew we couldn't respond to it. I know they like to go 4-man rush, but I thought once in a while try a blitz with this kid. He was rattled at times.
Ray, did you think though, as Ralph says he was rattled, but did you think he looked more comfortable as the game went on, or did it?
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he looked, but it wasn't like Zach was under fire a lot of times when he was back there. I mean, Dwayne Brown did not have a good game. I mean, they were going around him like he was standing still.
Did you see the PFFs on her offensive line? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone but the Lakinson got a really good grade.
Really?
Apparently,
I don't know what game they watched.
I know. Apparently, they don't count it if it's a if it's a miscommunication. They're only going like one-on-one blockers, and to me, miscommunication that's as bad as whiffing on a guy.
Right.
It's just.
But I thought he looked comfortable, but I thought that, we got decent pressure at times. Like Ralph said, we got close. And I think that was part of why he wasn't as accurate in the second half and why we were able to stop.
He really threw some stinkers. Do you remember that play though, where he's about to get sacked, he throws it, he gets deflected and it lands.
And it still gets caught.
So I think I was for a third down, and I'm thinking I've seen that so many times with the Jets over the years. It's just yeah.
And on the interception by Joyner, let's give Queen Williams credit because I thought he was almost invisible the first half. He was much better the second half, and he was a great rush, and he got in the quarterback's face.
Yeah.
Through an interception. At one point, Ralph, did you think Joyner had a chance to go all the way?
I can't remember exactly because I couldn't, I mean, watching it on TV, you're not sure of who's in front of them, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going crazy because I'm so concerned about the clock. But one thing happened, Ray, that I thought was good. Um, we were, I think we were driving. It was like towards the middle or at the end of the game, and they threw a flag, and it was on Herbig for holding
that
on
was a
first
big
down.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
It was
late in
a
the game. Yeah,
It was late, but it reminded me years ago, Walt Michaels would always take the penalty no matter what. And meanwhile, the other team was ahead by 6 points, but they would run out the clock because it
yeah.
always revert to first down. And I would tell him, I said, decline the penalty.
Yeah.
It's God damn it, it's 1st and 35. You don't need another 5 or 10 yards. It drove me nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the clock. And I was, it was a bad penalty. It was a little bit costly, but at least it helped run down the clock. Now, towards the end of the game, they were making some passes to Dulcich over Eccles. Sutton had a nice 11-yard pass. Judy had a 4-yard reception. By the way, Judy, who's having a lousy year, he probably had his best game yesterday.
Yeah, he made a couple of really nice catches.
It's interesting. And I'll get Ray's opinion. I kind of compared physically in the way he plays Judy to Garrett Wilson. Do you think they're similar at all?
I think Wilson is more elusive and dynamic than Judy, but they aren't totally different though. I think Wilson's also more acrobatic than Judy, but Judy's got good speed.
He's probably a little stronger than Wilson.
Yeah, he's a little stronger and he's probably a little more polished right now, but I think to me Garrett Wilson, I'd take Wilson over.
Yeah, I would too. Wilson made one nice catch on a short pass by Zach Wilson, which was poorly thrown. He did one of those contortion moves where it was an important play too. I think it was a 3rd down. It was.
Yeah.
But Ralph, you mentioned something at the very beginning of the show, and I was going to bring it up. I have my note here. I don't understand why he can't lead guys, Zach Wilson. The very few times he has the time, I don't know if he's not stepping up or stepping into it. I mean, last year, a couple of Corey Davis's drops were behind him, and everybody say should have caught it anyway. But then I began to realize, he's like,
he does it too much. He threw one behind Barrios too in the middle of the field yesterday. I don't know. I have no explanation, Marty. Like I said, I watched him in college, and he was throwing dimes all the time. I feel like he's just not comfortable, and his mechanics get screwed up because of that. He rushes, or he waits too long, like Ray says. It's always something with him, and I thought he'd be over that this year. I thought he'd be more calm and relaxed, but I don't see it so far. It's very concerning.
It is concerning. And, it's funny, Ray, it was Ralph that said a few weeks ago, we were talking about the Jets personnel, and he said, unfortunately, the weakest position on the Jets is the quarterback. Would you agree with that today?
No, I wouldn't say it's the weakest one, but I would say that it's the most important weak one that we have. I think.
What's weaker?
Yeah, what's weaker? I mean, maybe say the offensive.
No, I don't think our center's very good. I don't think. Now I think most of our offensive line.
I think he's better than Wilson.
Safeties. I think our safeties are very questionable. Like I say though, Zach.
I thought Whitehead was pretty good yesterday. Whitehead, I thought did okay.
Whitehead, he's fine. But I think Zach would be better if LaFleur was better. We were talking in the bar, and when we talked about it last week about, and you mentioned it earlier about air it out. Well, if you watch that game as the game went along, Denver's linemen were moving up. Denver's safeties were moving.
I know.
Nobody was worried about anything deep. They were stopping the run and the short mid-range passes, and we didn't loosen up the D at all. And we kept saying, just let him go back there and fling one as far as he can. Even if he misses, who cares? It gives him something to think about.
It's going to be the same thing.
Never does it.
Next Sunday. You know that.
And that's.
You want to hear something funny? I was reading some comment that's going, well, the reason Wilson passing it was terrible because we went up against the two best passing defenses in the league. They weren't the two best 2 weeks ago. They were like 6th and 10th. But after playing the Jets, statistically, they've moved up to 1 and 2. It's unbelievable.
It's funny. You take the stats after they play the Jets.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I did a 6-minute segment because I was so excited after the game, an instant reaction. I was so excited. I said that there's 3 things I was so impressed with this year with the Jets. And I forgot to read the last one. I just want to tell you guys what I really am impressed with. 3 things. The overall team speed to me, and now this is, of course, Brees is out, but in general, the overall team speed is phenomenal. And I think it's such an improvement and so obvious. The second thing is, and I think it's kind of under the radar, our defense has become a real good tackling team.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that when they wrap up, these guys go down. It's not one of those years where where Pierre Desir is trying to tackle and the guy just steps right out of his grasp. And the third thing I think is the most impressive to me, and again, doesn't look good in our eyes. Probably Ray, he looks the worst in Ralph's eyes, but we don't have many turnovers right now. And these 3 things to me are a good equation for success.
Yeah, that's true.
They can move on and they can fill somebody's holes as we enter the fourth quarter. Ralph, do you think of anything else that impresses you about this team as we win 4 in a row?
Well, sort of like what you say with the tackling, I just like the mindset of the defense. There's a lot of guys there who are aggressive, nasty players, like Quan Alexander and Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams and DJ Reed. Those guys, man, they hit and they get in. There's a lot of aggression on that defense. And I wanted to mention something, Marty. You were belly aching the whole time about getting Quinn and Williams back in the game. Solomon Thomas and Shepard were in too long. I think he felt, in altitude, he had to do that. But I think other than that first drive for the touchdown, their run defense was really good the rest of the game. So, and Solomon Thomas and Shepard were in there enough, so you have to give them some props for a couple of guys who were not crazy about.
Right, I agree. I saw Shepard make a really nice play too, and Solomon Thomas was serviceable too.
Yeah.
Ray,
who made the late hit?
Vinny Curry. That was
Vinny
awful.
Curry, that
was terrible.
I mean, he could have had a cup of coffee between the time he released the ball.
But he did throw his arms out to show he didn't.
That's why he got called.
that was crazy. That was stupid.
We continued that. I think that was on that drive they scored on it. We just kept continuing the drive every time they would have gotten off the field.
Right. Now, I'm hoping to do a preview game later in the week, but time has become an issue for all 3 of our schedules. So tonight, Ralph, I mean, they shouldn't have any problem with the Bears, right?
Well, the thing about Justin Fields that I love is he's, I think, the only quarterback in the league who looks more rattled than Zach Wilson does these days.
He's pressure all the time.
But
he is. Yeah, he is. And he looks confused.
He looks like he's lost, right?
He landed in a bad situation.
Well, look, it might take him 15 years, like it did Geno.
Yeah, Geno. That's right. Well, same thing might happen with Zach. By the way, do you guys know who Philip Walker is?
Oh yeah, he's on the quarterback on the
Carolina Panthers. He was an undrafted free agent from
I think
Temple,
he's like 5'10",
5'11". Yeah. And going to the game yesterday, he had 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He threw 3 touchdowns, no picks, and about 300 yards. What was the last time we had a stat like that?
I want to ask you something. I don't know why. If I was a Packer fan, it really bothered me, Ray. I had heard that every Monday, Matt LaFleur goes through the Jets game with his brother Mike and critiques them. If you were a Packer fan, would you want your coach spending time doing that on the Jets?
Well, apparently he's giving him bad advice, though. That's the thing.
No, but you know what I'm saying, Ray? How would you feel about that?
Well, they did it every week but the Packer game. So he wasn't.
Yeah, that's right. But how would you feel if you were a Packer fan? I don't want my coach telling his brother what to do. I read that. They say every Monday they speak. Then I hear every day Matt LaFleur and Robert Saleh speak to each other.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I
No, they
can't
have
wish
a
like Belichick or
relationship.
Parcells doing this stuff, you know?
Well, they,
Well-
you know, it's Parcells wasn't the best man at Belichick's wedding, that's for sure. But
No, no,
you know,
yeah.
I think as long as the Packers were winning, it was no big deal. But now, you know,
Yeah, it's rough.
we should focus on us.
Yeah, maybe Mike LaFleur should be analyzing Matt LaFleur's
Oh,
offense now.
then you'd hear me in Green Bay. I'd be shouting so much. So, hey, listen, we're gonna wrap this up. It was a good show. It was a great win, and sometimes that you win at a cost, and this was very costly as we lost two of our three best players. But we're gonna move on. You know, sometimes someone has a magic wand, and things go right no matter what happens. And let's see, it could be one of those years. We'll find out in the next 3 games.
Well, I was just gonna say, Marty, you know, I know you want the playoffs real bad. These next 3 games are gonna tell us everything about this team.
Listen, people want meaningful games in December. I want meaningful games in January. That's just the way I am.
I'll take meaningful games in November. We haven't had that for a long time
Hey, listen,
either.
I said this 2 weeks ago, Ray and Ralph. I haven't looked at any draft list yet. This is the first time in like 5 years.
Yeah, but after yesterday, I think I might start looking for
I know,
a few players.
I know. We'll see. All right, for Ralph Schrager, Ray Clifford, and Marty Schupak, and Jets Rewind, make sure you catch me on Saturday mornings with Schupak Sports. I do Jets Rewind Plus, and that's why we're on this 4-game winning streak. Somebody is listening to me.
Yeah, Mike
All right.
LaFleur and Matt LaFleur.
That's it. Okay, until next time.